Hello, my name is Vincent CHOU. I'm the Human Resources Director with Viewsonic Corporation. A little bit about myself. I have a family with two kids. They are not quite there at school age yet. I got to get those two potty trained first. They're very little small children. I've been doing human resources for about 2 decades now. Really love what I do. And as we dive into the presentation more, I'll explain more about it. And here is a quick photo of me doing my job. This was a charity event during Thanksgiving that I was able to represent Viewsonic to volunteer at the Passathon for KFI 640 as a partnership that we have with them every year, where we do food drives, people donate pasta sauce, pastas, and feed what they call motel children with the Caterina's Club. So every year I would have a team of volunteers go down to Crystal Cathedral down in Orange or Santa Ana with me, and we would help offload the trucks and just promote with KFI AM 640 all day. It's quite a fun event. Okay. So a little bit about the company that I work for, Viewsonic Corporation. We are a international company. This map kind of shows you where our headquarters is, where our manufacturing facility and R&D center is. We do have, we are selling our products over 100 countries in the world, so quite proud of that. We are a medium-sized company, but we have global reach, so never a dull moment. Okay. And a little bit more about Viewsonic. Here's our vision and culture. We focus on our customers. We're constantly in a growth mindset. We want to grow our business. Teamwork, we work together. Agility, that means we want to be nimble. We're not a huge corporation where there's a lot of red tapes or rules. We want to be able to move fairly quickly. Integrity, corporate citizenship, those two, I think it just comes down to honesty and us being a trustworthy company for our customers, that therefore our customers they like doing business with us all the time. Okay. A little bit about the products that we sell. Monitors and projectors are the products that people know us for. In the past decade or so, we started doing interactive flat panels for classrooms. So I know that some of the Brea schools are using our products. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. We're certainly very proud of the solutions that we're providing for the classrooms. Okay. And in order to talk about my job, I kind of have to talk about human resources as a function. And the first thing that comes to mind is that we recruit people. We interview people and select the candidates that would eventually join our company. So in every company, you might see a career section on their webpage. And this is what a career page or typical positions that Viewsonic would hire: marketing, IT, engineering, finance, customer support, you name it. And so that's one of the main functions that human resources manages, is recruiting. And so what does human resources do? This kind of goes back in a little bit of history lesson. About 20, 30 years ago, human resources was actually called personnel. And during those times, what we do truly is hire people, place them in the right position, and run payroll, do their benefits. But now it's a lot more. Now you might have, maybe you heard of the term human resources business partners. What does that mean? That means we really have to understand the business cycle and the business philosophy, operating philosophy our company is doing. For example, this is a typical product marketing cycle. There's from idea to evaluation, developing your idea, refining it, and then testing the market, and eventually launching a product. Every HR person now, we need to understand this concept because we need to understand what it is that our employees do on a daily basis. Here's more example. This is what graphic design and copywriters do. We need to spend time and understand each and every job and understand what is it that they bring to the table, what value do they add for the company. Digital marketing, there's so many different areas. And HR is a department that hires all those people. We really need to have a good understanding, good grasp of what they do and what are the skill sets that's required for each and all of those positions in order to present the best candidate for the managers to hire. More, different jobs, public relations, so forth. Okay. And what education is necessary to get my job? Usually a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree from college, that's a good start. However, personally, what I've learned is, if you really want to stand out from the crowd, you really want to go after a master's degree, whether that means it's a master in business administration, or there are a master in human resources management these days. Personally, I have both master of human resources management as well as master of business administration. That definitely has helped me in my career, not just because I have those degrees, but those degrees really train me to think differently and apply the knowledge differently. It really teaches me a different logic of thinking. And a typical salary of my position, it varies. That's the best answer I can give you. But as a typical human resources manager, you should expect to make anywhere between $80,000 to $90,000, obviously depending on where you live. Now, when you get to a director's level, you definitely should be expecting making 6 figures. I think where we are now in Orange County, California, a typical human resource director, the salary should be anywhere between $120,000 to $160,000 a year. And moving beyond that, there are vice president of human resources. There are even some big organizations have a chief human resources officer as a title, or chief people officer. Those are probably in the 200, even 300,000 a year ranges. So it's quite a lucrative career, if you ask me. If you really love what you do, that's always the key, right? As far as the outlook for human resources positions, I think this is probably one of the most interesting and best time to be in human resources. And reason is this: we are still we're at the hopefully at the tail end of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic really has changed a lot of things, and a lot of things going on in my profession. Because when COVID-19 started to happen, a lot of companies had to make a decision to either have people work from home or change the hours, the schedules, and how people will work. And with that comes a whole other suite of challenges and issues. How do we pay people? Because there's always new laws coming out, or it seems like every day, every month. How do we make sure we communicate properly with everybody? Make sure that everyone understands what the new labor law rules are, what the new practices are. So communication really is key. And as companies are starting to return to the office, and some companies are now kind of making a decision that, hey, we may not go back to the office at all, or maybe just a couple of days a week. So that also creates a lot of new challenges for human resources as a department. So that's going back to what I said at the beginning. I think this is one of the most interesting and fun times in human resources as a profession, because we literally are dealing or get a new set of challenges. I don't like to say problems or challenges, because there's always a solution to those challenges. There's always something new every day. It's never boring. Benefits of my job. Well, I think if you ask me, I get to help people, and I get to help people in the most direct way that impacts their life and their families' lives. And I get to see people grow. I get to see people develop in their career. I get to talk to people and talk about their goals, their hopes and dreams, where they want to be professionally, and I get to make recommendations on how they can get there. And watching someone grow is incredibly rewarding, and that's really a main reason why I love what I do. Okay. Let's talk about the skills that I learned along with my job's demands. You have to be a very well-rounded communicator, and you have to be very open-minded. You have to understand that everybody comes from a different background, and everyone has a different upbringing, so there's going to be different opinions. And just because you disagree doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes disagreement is a good thing. And when there's disagreement, we talk about it professionally, cordially, and we come up with a solution that's and the best type of scenario is a win-win solution. So there's a lot of very interesting scenarios, situations, sometimes very heated, or I like to call it passionate discussions. You just never know what to expect. So as far as skill sets that I learned is, for lack of a better term, I learned how to be very political correct. I learned a lot about different cultures. How every opinion, there's always right and wrong from every opinion, and there's no absolutely right. There's no absolutely wrong. The truth is always somewhere in between. So you kind of become a pretty good negotiator and a pretty good mediator in those situations. I think that's probably one of the hardest skill to master. Not just as a human resource professional, but just in life in general. Yeah. So what made me want to work in my field? I kind of go back to why I love my job so much. I get to help people. I get to impact them in a way that are so direct and so personal. And watching people being successful, knowing that I had something to do with it, to help them along the way, is very, very rewarding. Okay. And I got into human resources, quite frankly, a little bit by chance. I started in, as a customer service, front desk agent to be exact, in a hotel property. And I guess I was pretty good at it. And at the time, my first mentor at that particular hotel, the human resource director then, kind of talked to me and said, "Hey, I think you got a real shot at being good at human resources." And I looked into it, had a few more conversations with her, and eventually decided to jump into this field, and hasn't looked back since. So it's been a great journey. Okay. Now I want to talk about some of the soft skills needed. I think it's very important, not just in human resources, but you definitely need those, but just in general, for if you want to be successful in life. I think these are some of the soft skills that every company is looking for every individual. You got to be entrepreneurial. You're not just sitting there waiting for people to give you instructions. That's how I would define being an entrepreneur. You're always thinking about new ideas or how to improve the way you're doing things right now. Can-do attitude, that kind of goes in hand with entrepreneurial. Once you have an idea, don't just continue to think about or dwell on your idea. You got to do something about it. And then take charge. Take charge of the situation. One of the best quote I learned is that, when there's not a door in front of you, create a door. So you can open that door and open for more possibilities. Next quality is teamwork. You have to understand how to work with people. That is incredibly important. It doesn't matter how capable you are, you need a team around you. And because you just cannot do it all. There's just so much to do every day. You have to have your team with you, around you. You have to have a good group of people with you. Self-starter, that kind of goes back to your entrepreneurial spirit. Don't wait. Don't wait for other people to give you instructions. Just follow your dreams, pursue it, and start doing something about it. The last one is good presentation skills. You got to be able to present your ideas. You got to be able to communicate effectively. That's the only way you can get your great ideas out there, to talk to people. All right. Let's go through some of the common questions I may or may not get. How hard is it to get the job? Well, at the entry level, it's not that hard. You really just need to be very organized. At least that's how I started in this field. Because human resources as a function, there are administrative functions. And that's how I got my start. You need to be very, very organized. You need to have attention to detail. And you need to have all these qualities that I just listed, the soft skills. And years of education. Personally, with all the years I spent in graduate school, college, 4 years, and then another almost 3.5, 4 years in graduate schools. Yeah, that's about how much time I spent in school. And common interest areas of this field. I think you have to be interested in business in general, and you have to want to help people. It's almost like a life coach sometimes. And you just have to be interested in anything and everything. If you have a curious mind and you like to help people, I think this could be a very rewarding career for you. That said, I think that would conclude my presentation. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Hopefully I provided some good and valuable information for you, and wish everyone the best.